Good morning, everyone. Let's give us a minute or so for everyone to be led into the webinar from the waiting room, and then we can get started. Right. I think most of the folks who were waiting are already here. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Moon Mascot NASA Artemis 2 ZGI Design Challenge Information webinar. Thank you very much for joining today, and let's get started. Next slide, please. Okay, so today we'll walk you through the general challenge overview, what is a ZGI, challenge background, and how to participate. We'll also review what's required in your submissions, go over judging and prizes, and finish up with the live Q&A sessions. So feel free to utilize the Q&A panel at the bottom to ask any questions that you might have. Next slide, and thank you. And let me introduce our speakers today. We do have quite a bit more people than are introduced here as the speaker. So my name is Daria. I'm going to be your host today, and I'm an enterprise project manager from Freelancer. And I'm joined today by Rachel Kraft from NASA's Office of Communications. And we also have Jenny, Eric, and Trisha from Freelancer supporting us today, and also Laura, Sarah, and Thalia from the NASA side also supporting us today. So a little bit on some webinar logistics and details. This webinar is being recorded, and recording will be shared with everyone. So those who were not able to participate and also who participated would like to review it, it's going to be available on our website, as well as send an automatic email to you a couple of days after the webinar. As I mentioned, please use the Q&A panel for any live questions that you would like to ask. And if we don't get to your question today, don't worry. It will be addressed in the Q&A document that is already on the challenge page. And of course, if there is any information on the challenge brief and on these slides don't match, the challenge brief would take the precedence here over anything in this presentation. Next slide, please. All right. So let me start by introducing Freelancer a little bit and the role of Freelancer in this challenge. So Freelancer is proud to host this challenge on behalf of NASA. As the world's largest freelancing and crowdsourcing platform, we connect teams with talented creatives worldwide. We have over 75 million freelancers across 247 regions, countries, and territories, with more than 5 billion projects awarded. We are one of the teams involved on NASA Open Innovation Services contract and have been engaged in various initiatives with NASA and other United States government agencies for the past 10 years. We host a range of projects and competitions covering topics anywhere from graphic design to biotechnology. So keep an eye out on anything else that we're hosting. We'll be happy to have you participate in other challenges that we host. Next slide, please. And with that, I'll pass it on to Rachel to introduce you to the challenge and its background.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm really excited to be here to talk a little bit about the challenge as well as NASA's mission that the ultimate winner selected from this challenge will fly on. So for many NASA missions that involve crew and sometimes without astronauts, there is a tradition where a small plush doll will fly inside of the spacecraft to really indicate when the crew has reached space. So when the crew is launching, they're still under the forces of gravity, and when they reach space, they do float because they're in microgravity, as does the little plush doll. And so it can be a fun indicator for folks who are watching a launch and watching a mission to see the little plush item float. And so we thought, typically this little item is chosen by the crew flying to space. For this particular mission, Artemis 2, which is the first flight with crew under NASA's Artemis campaign to go to the moon and really go there for exploration and scientific discovery and to build the knowledge we need to send astronauts to Mars one day. we decided that we wanted to come up with a way to really enable people around the globe to feel like they could be part of this mission. And so we came up with the idea to do a contest to design the little plush indicator that could fly inside the cabin for Artemis 2, along with the 4 astronauts who are going to fly inside. And the item has to meet certain requirements, which we'll go over, but it's typically hung via a tether from an attachment point. And it's a really exciting thing that allows folks to really connect with the mission. On the next slide, oh, sorry, if you can go back one. Yeah, so a little bit more about the mission itself. So as I mentioned, through Artemis, NASA are trying to develop a long-term presence at the moon for science and exploration so we can build the knowledge and the know-how we need to go to Mars. Artemis 2 itself is about a 10-day mission, and the crew will fly inside our Orion spacecraft, which is launched from our Kennedy Space Center in Florida, aboard our Space Launch System rocket, and the crew will venture around the moon. They'll fly by and return. So it's a relatively short mission, but it gives us a chance to test all the systems to support crew for the first time with actual humans on board, to give us that knowledge we need to make sure we can go land on the surface of the moon in the future. And ultimately, what we do select through this competition will be taken to the crew who are flying. They'll get a list of submissions, and then the NASA Thermal Blanket Lab, an in-house laboratory, will manufacture the item that the crew ultimately selects. And so on the next slide, if you can go back to that one, a little bit more about the timeline. So we did launch this in early March. We're hoping that gives folks a couple of months to get their design submissions into the competition by May 27th with a 5 p.m. Eastern deadline. Then there will be a judging period that Freelancer conducts in the summer months. And then we're hoping to have Freelancer in coordination with NASA announce the pool of finalists by the end of July.
All right, I'll take it from here. Thank you, Rachel. So now we'll take over now for further dive into details of your participation in this contest. So with this project, our goal was to open it up to a global audience and encourage as many people as possible to participate. There are a few ground rules that we need to follow, and I'll go over those shortly. We've divided the participant into 3 main groups. So we have adults, K through 12 classrooms, and K through 12 individuals. So our younger audience also can participate either as part of their classroom in school or as an individual student. So for adults, they can join in 3 main ways. So first one would be the individual. So you can participate on your own, acting as a team leader with no other contributors. You can participate as a team. So that is a group of people collaborating on a submission, but not representing an official organization. And also you can join as an entity. So that means you're an individual or a group submitting on behalf of an established organization, company, or other entity. Up to 13 winners, or rather finalists, will be selected from this group. K through 12 participants can join either as a classroom or as individual students. I'll share a bit more about that in the next slide. But to participate, individual entrants or the designated team leader must be at least 18 years old and legally eligible to receive payments under the US law. There are also some geographical restrictions. The solution itself must be developed in the United States or designated country. A full list of the eligible countries is available via the link provided on this slide. It is also available on the challenge website. And this requirement applies only to the team leader. So if you think you're not eligible, you may still join as a team as long as the team leader meets the criteria. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, we're thrilled to welcome our K through 12 students in classroom to participate, and would like to share a bit more details on that group participation. So for individual students, students kind of have to team up with the parent or a legal guardian who will serve as a team leader. Since minors cannot have active accounts on the platform or receive prizes directly, the parent or the guardian must create an account on freelancer.com, register for the challenge, and also submit the entry itself on the student's behalf. Please note that we only allow one entry. So if you submit multiple, we're just going to select the final one that you have. So if you have a couple of great ideas, think about which one you like the most. And also be sure to use the correct submission form, as we have a different form for adults and for the K through 12 kids, because the questions are a little bit different. We simplified them a little bit for this type of audience. We provided plenty of helpful resources for kids, including a simplified challenge brief. There are some reading materials and videos to guide you through the process, and we'll be selecting up to 6 individual winners in total for this group. For the classrooms, we have divided that into 3 main grade areas. So K through 5, 6 through 8, and 9 through 12. There will be 6 finalists in total. So ideally, we would like to select 2 in each group, but we might shuffle it a little bit. Similar to individual entries, the teacher will act as the team leader and students will be the team member. Each classroom may submit up to 3 entries, so you can have different groups within the classroom, or the whole classroom submits 3 different submissions, but you do have the choice of submitting up to 3 entries. Same with the individual student supplementary material, and a separate submission form for classrooms is available on the files page, and will also be, as I mentioned, selecting up to 6 finalists. Next slide, please. For the design guidelines, so let's talk a little bit about your designs. As Rachel mentioned already, you only need to submit the design. You don't need to produce the final plushie, as it's going to be manufactured internally by NASA. So we have a couple of guidelines that we would like you to follow in order to succeed and also become one of the finalists. First, it must be unique. So that means that you must not use AI to create any part of your submission. So whether it is the design or the written part of the submission, it is strictly prohibited. So please make sure to not do that. It also must be original. That means that it cannot be an existing character or already exists in ZGI. So come up with something unique, something that maybe would represent you or the global audience. And next, on the meaningfulness, it has to be meaningful. So it must be relevant to the global audience, representing humanity. It must be meaningful to the Artemis 2 mission and the astronauts on it. It must not represent just one country through logos, iconography, flags, etc. And it cannot have a NASA logo, insignia, or the name NASA on it. For the manufacturing, the space and the weight available on a spacecraft is quite limited. That's why we have a little bit of limitations in terms of this of the size of your plushie. It must fit into 6 by 6 by 6 inch box, and it can also exceed the weight of 0.75 pounds. It also must be fabricated with only the following materials, since it has to be safe to be put on a spacecraft. So that includes Nomex thread, faux fur fabric, polyester fabric, cotton fabric, beta cloth, Kevlar, or vinyl. It could be Kapton/VGA film, and we could use polyfill for stuffing. So keep that in mind when you create your design. You can also research the materials a little bit more, and we have additional description to the materials available on that same files page, where we provide a bit more details into different parts of the submissions and the challenge itself. Next slide, please. So for the submission requirements, your submission essentially is going to be divided in 2 main parts. First one would be the images or your design itself. As part of this part of your submission, please include front, back, and side views of your design. All of the dimensions of the ZGI. Again, think about potential future manufacturing of your toy. List all of the materials that you would like to use, all of the colors for each part of the submission, and also include your name and the country on the image design. You can use an optional template for the design drawing, or you can use your own template if you'd like. And the second part would be the submission form. We provided a a fillable PDF template for this, and that form includes your name, your freelancer name, or username, submission title, so that could be a name of your plushie, it could be something else, and the written part of your submission, so the description of your ZGI, description of the design itself, why you created, why do you think it meets the requirements, description of any motion that your ZGI may perform during the space flight, and an explanation of how it is meaningful to the Artemis 2 mission, the Artemis campaign overall, and its significance to exploration and discovery. Next slide, please. And here are the screenshots of the templates we provide. As I mentioned before, submission form is mandatory to use, and we also have 2 different forms for adults and K through 12 entries. Design template is not mandatory, so you're welcome to utilize your own tools to submit a design to make it a bit more creative or whatever you would like to use. Next slide, please. So here's how you can participate. We have simplified it into this infographic for you. So some steps might be a little bit different for you, but this is kind of a general guideline. So first of all, you will need to create an account on freelancer.com. Only the team leader needs to do that. The team members don't really have to do that unless you want to. For K through 12 entries, a teacher, parent, or legal guardian needs to register and submit on behalf of the minors. The payments to the finalists will also be made through the platform, so keep that in mind. You might have to go through some additional verifications in order to do that. Next, please read the challenge rules. Make sure that you're eligible, that you have all of the guidelines available for you. This is very important. Then please ask questions if there are anything that you'd like to know that is not clear from the rules, or you just did not understand it, or maybe we forgot to cover something. You can use the comments on the challenge page, or you can email us directly. Our email is available on the website, and it's moon-mascot@freelancer.com. Next, you can register for the challenge. Click the link in the challenge rules for that. It is a pretty simple form where we just ask for your contact information. It also helps us to determine your eligibility, and also for any future announcement, we're going to have your full name, you're going to have your team members. So we want to make sure that everyone's included in any announcement that we make post-challenge. Then you will work on your entry after or before your registration is approved. And then you will submit your entry by the submission deadline. Please try to submit as early as possible, because in case you run into technical difficulties or maybe your submission is not complete, the earlier you submit, the higher the probability of us checking your entry for you and maybe reaching out to you if you forgot to submit something. Next slide, please. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the judging process. For some people, it might be the most exciting part. For some people, no. Next slide, please. For the judging criteria, it is fairly simple. We wanted to make it as simple as possible for you. We have 3 main points that we're going to be judging your entries against. First one, and probably the most important one, is the visuals. So the actual design of yours, it has to be compelling, attractive, how creative and unique it is, whether it speaks to that global audience, also the quality of your submission, and whether you made it fully complete with all of the dimensions, colors, clear visuals. Next one, that is also a very important one, is the representation of the mission itself, and also its significance to the overall exploration and discovery. So why the ZGI is meaningful to the mission. That is going to be also 40 points. And the last category is the written submission. So the quality of the written part within the submission form that you provide to us. So your description of the ZGI, explanation of it, how it's going to perform, and the quality of the written part of your submission. Next slide, please. So now I just want to touch base a little bit on the intellectual property. When you submit your entry, you're not giving up any IP. It is only when you're selected as a finalist when any rules apply in that regard. So winning submissions are essentially granting government unlimited rights to use, share, reproduce your submission, and also all copyrights in winning solutions shall be assigned to the government. This is the license. Again, if you have any questions about it, please let us know, and we'll work with you to clarify any of the details about it. Next slide. And now for the prices, probably the most exciting part now. We have a total prize purse of a little bit over $23,000 for this competition. Adults, our 13 finalists will receive $1,225 each, and K through 12 participants will receive a bit of a different structure of the prizes. So the classrooms will also receive $1,225 each. Up to 6 winners are going to be selected, and the individuals are going to receive an Artemis prize pack, which is essentially going to be a very nice goodie bag with all the cool things about the mission and the space. So very exciting prizes here. And as we mentioned before, only submissions that are eligible and also complete and follow the rules will be eligible for awards. So keep that in mind. Next slide, please. And this is it for our presentation. Now we're going to jump into the Q&A section. We already have quite a lot of questions, so we can dive in right away. And as we go through them, make sure to ask more questions. And as I mentioned, if we not cover any of those live, we're going to make sure to answer them in writing for you. So Eric, I'm going to pass it on to you.
Yeah, of course. We have the first question. If the Artemis logo can be used for this challenge, and simply you can't use any logos or any symbol that represents a specific organization, country, right? So the answer would be no. Then if you can participate from Bangladesh, right? Bangladesh is a designated country from the link that I'm sharing with you, with all of you. So yes, you can participate from Bangladesh if you're a resident from Bangladesh. Then, can we design our mascot on computer without the help of AI? Yes, you can design it as long as you don't use any AI tool and is original from your a novel and new idea. Then I use Pixlr to create the design from scratch. Yeah, you can use any software as long as, again, it's novel, it's original. And as long as you also include all the details that we are asking in the challenge page. So yeah, that's also possible. Then, does the design have to be like a technical drawing with measurements for everything, or is a simple illustration all right? Yes, the design should include technical details like sizing. Oh, again, sorry, Trisha commented Pixel uses AI, so you cannot use it to make it. So you cannot, if it's using AI, you cannot. So please use another, let's say, software for creating and designing the CGI. Then going back to the last question. Yes, you have to include again all the technical details like size, dimensions. Again, please make sure that it fits in the size that we are requiring, 6 by 6 by 6 inches, right? And also include materials, colors, right? And please also include not only the front side of the plushie or the CGI, but also include side angles too, so we can also see the whole, let's say, design from all of the angles. So continue with the questions. Assuming I forgot two other dimensions and front and back graphics. Can I resubmit the same design? Yes, please do that. Resubmit your design and include all the things that are missing. Yeah, you can withdraw basically your submission and resubmit your design to the platform. Then, if I'm a minor, can my parents upload the work for me or how? Yes, that should be the case. You should, a parent, a tutor that is over 18, right? And also complies to the designated country requirements should be the team lead, right? of your team, let's say, you're going to be the one creating the actual design, but that parent or that adult will have to also register, right? So so your design can participate in the challenge. Next, if we are an educational platform that wants to promote this contest for teachers and K-12 students, is there a specific flyer created for this purpose? Thank you. Maybe Daria, if you could answer this one.
Yes, we have some materials available. So if you can email us, we'll be happy to share them with you. So all of the graphics and like sample text. It's wonderful that you would like to promote it, and we're happy to provide you with any information that we can to help you out with that.
Amazing. Okay. Hi, is Peru in the list of countries that can participate? I believe so, but just in case, check the challenge page if there's any misalignment with that. But I believe that yes, Peru is designated country. Then, can the design have detachable elements such as removable shirt or space helmet? Yes, there's no specific requirements or any guidelines for that. So yes, that could be possible.
I will add a little
Yeah.
bit. As long as it is properly attached and it's not gonna fly away from your plushie, feel free to use these kind of things.
Yeah. Thanks, Daria. I'm a little bit confused about the design. I mean, I can use an animal of my country just because I like, but not to represent it. This question might be a bit tricky. Maybe Daria, do you have any yeah, inputs on this?
If you like the animal and you think that it's gonna be compliant with the rules, I would say you can participate. But if it's like an official icon or an official animal of your country that is globally available and everyone knows that, then probably it's best if you avoid that, just because you're just not gonna receive a lot of points in that regards during the judging process.
Great. Next one, how can I participate? Are there any restrictions related to non-designated countries? Yes, there are some countries that are not like the non-designated countries, as you mentioned. There's a list of all those countries in the challenge page in the guideline sections. So please check first if you are a resident of any of those countries. And if you're a resident of a non-designated country, you could still participate if you team up with a team lead that resides in a designated country.
And Eric, if I can just interject a little bit, because I think some of the language that the government uses is a little bit confusing related to designated countries. So the U.S. federal government has a list of designated countries. It's a relatively small number of countries that the United States has limitations on interacting with. If you are from one of the countries on the list, you unfortunately cannot have the same abilities to be selected. All the other countries, if you're from any other country that's not listed, you're welcome to participate. So sometimes the language gets confusing between designated countries and non-designated countries. The list of designated countries that there are limitations on is a relatively small list of countries that many people can probably already guess without looking at the list have limited relations with the United States. And that's why we have limitations on submitting if you're from one of those countries.
Yeah, thank you, Rach, for that clarification. Okay, next one. What types of polyester fabrics are allowed? We have a whole file document explaining all of that and what are the fabrics that are permitted for the challenge. You can find that in the files tab in the challenge page. It's called fabrics description in English. We have also the same document available in Spanish and French, so make sure to check that and obviously comply to those guidelines. Great. Okay. Following, how can the design balance cutting-edge technology with approachable for public engagement? Maybe Dara, do you have any answers to this one?
I would say, honestly, it is up to you, because again, we mentioned that it has to represent the humanity, it has to be meaningful to the mission, to the space exploration as a whole. It is obviously quite technological topic, and there is a lot of the cutting edge technology involved in that. So I would say by default, it is balancing out on that level. But again, it is up to you on how you see that fit and how you would like to represent that as a whole in your entry.
Okay, thank you. In the submission, can we just make it make 3D model and submit it somehow? We just have to type how it looks like. You could design 3D model, but I think it's better if you submit it as images, right? So if you can maybe take screenshots that are basically showing the 3D model in the angles that we need, that it's enough. And you should not only describe how it looks like, but also add the details. Well, the images are explaining that, obviously, but also you have to include some details explaining some details like materials, colors, and size of the photos that you are sharing with us. So yeah. Next one. Other cultural symbolic guidelines to ensure global inclusivity and avoid appropriation. I don't think so. Any specific guidelines for that? Just to make sure that it's again and not representing anything that, for example, a country or in a specific country, organization, institution. So as long as it's basically complying to some of the guidelines, like it has to be let's say international in a way, right? And not be a specific from an geographical area or anything like that. It's okay. Maybe Dario or anyone has some more inputs on this one.
No, I think, yeah, I think I agree. Again, all of the guidelines are posted, and global inclusivity is the point, essentially. So as much of a global submission you can make, the better it is.
Yeah. Thanks, Daria. Next one. Are there specific branding guidelines, color palettes, or scalability requirements? Yes. All of that should be in the challenge page. So please refer to that, to those guidelines. So because we have some sections explain all of that, so your submission could be is eligible. Great. I can't understand the classroom process. Okay. Yeah, we can give you an overview of that. Basically, if you, for example, you're a teacher, right, from a school, you can register your classroom, right, in one of the three categories that we made available, which is K to 5, 6 to 8, and 9 to 12 grades, right? So you should basically assess whether which one of those three categories your classroom fits, and then register as a classroom with the registration form, and then this is also for everyone. Now we accept up to 3 entries per classroom. Before it was 1, but now we are accepting 3. So each classroom can submit up to 3. So you have to basically decide which ones of, if you create more than 3, decide which ones are going to be the 3 that you're going to present. And if you want some more details, we also made available a file, a PDF, which is on the file stuff in the challenge page, right? Where we explain all the process and also make some recommendations on how you can approach that with your classroom. So let's continue. Should designers draw from existing NASA mascots, or is the preference for entirely new concepts? Yeah, definitely. Entirely new concepts. And yeah, we've made some resources. We share some resources on the challenge page, but it's mostly for you to get understanding of what is a ZGI. But yeah, please make sure that it's original and a new idea. Would a homeschool parent be able to participate in the classroom or only the individual student? Yes, in that case, should be the individual student, right? Maybe Daria, do you have any other inputs here?
If there is a classroom involved, then
Mm,
absolutely feel free to collaborate with your classroom. If it's the type of homeschooling when you normally don't have a classroom, then probably individual would be the only option.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Great. Does the quality of the image taken influence the visual aspect of the criteria? Influence the visual aspect of the criteria. I don't quite understand the question, Daria or Rachel. Anyone does have any thoughts on this?
If the overall like quality of the drawing or is of the image is what you're asking about, like whether it influences the judging criteria, then yes, because we do have the quality of the submission, both written and the visual submission as part of our judging criteria.
Okay, great. Next, I just want to clarify, codon can be used. Yeah, Derek. Yeah, also Derek, could you maybe answer this one?
Yeah, cotton is listed in the materials that can be used, yes.
Great. Thanks. Next one. Can I participate from Chile? Chile. I think that Chile is also it's part of the designated countries list. So yes. Again, if there's any doubts, please refer to the challenge page and on the link that we also made available on the challenge page. Great. Next, is the CGI design allowed to be based on something historical, or does it have to be completely original? No, it's okay. I would say no, but maybe yeah. Again, Daria, maybe she has some other inputs in this.
As we mentioned, it needs to be original, it needs to be your work. So that's why probably it would be ideal if you create your own plushie.
Great. Next one, I have a real life wood carved image. I want to base my submission on wood picture of the object's surface. Not only the pictures, but also again explanations, details, size, colors, materials, and yeah, I think that you also had to make sure that also you're complying to the materials that are allowed. So yeah, it could be used as, let's say, inspiration, but please also refer to the guidelines and the requirements of the challenge for this. Okay. Next one, any advice for making suggestions on colors, like using Pantone color matching system or something similar? Dara, do you have any
We didn't
details about it? Yeah.
specify in the rules on how you would be providing the colors for your submission. I would say probably to make it a little bit easier for everyone, If you use like a standard system for the color, so RGB, for example, that's probably the easiest way to do that. But if you would like to just, I don't know, have like a screenshot of the color and you just describe it, that would also suffice. Because again, we don't specify how exactly you would need to provide the colors as part of your submission.
Right. Perfect. I'm in behalf of an educational entity based in Dominican Republic. I'm a US citizen and I will be leading the K-12 team. Are we eligible? Daria, do you have any comments on this one?
Yes, absolutely. Dominican Republic is one of the countries listed as the eligible one, so absolutely go for it.
Perfect. Next one, how the prize money is given if I won. Okay. The money is basically given to any winners through the platform. So it will be transferred to your freelancer account. So make sure that you create a freelancer account. Of course, if you don't, you cannot submit. And also complete the KYC, which is a process that we need you to basically complete before receiving the prizes. So as long as all of that is again complete and okay, you will receive the funds and the prize. Through the platform. But in the case of the packs, I don't know, Dara, if you have some info about that, or Rachel, the Artemis prospects.
For the price pack, it's a great question. Most likely we will reach out to you and get your addresses. So and then gonna be shipped to you.
Perfect. Okay, next one. Can I use a sketchbook? Yes, you can use it, but obviously for the design phases and when you're submitting the entry, make sure that again you're adding all the details and you're basically submitting it digitally because that's the only way. But yeah, great. Next one. Can we receive samples of the materials? If not, if there's a video of someone handling materials we could view, no, we cannot send you any samples of the materials. There's again something like an explanation of each material, and is there a video of someone handling materials we could view? Not specifically in the materials, but we have the written description. So that's the only thing that we currently have in regards to this. Great. Will the participants receive a certificate of participation for the challenge? Quite prestigious challenge. For now, we are not considering sending you or giving you any certificate of participation. So I'd say no. I would say no. Great. The drawings have to be in some type of format, like yeah, okay. I think the best format, or well, not the best format, but format that it's accepted is a PDF, for example. So you can submit it. You can submit it like a PDF or even a JPG or an image format like la PNG too. As long as again it has all the details and all the images that we are requesting from you. Great. Can the ZGI be squeezed or compressed to fit within the dimensions? Yeah, I mean, they had to. The CGI has to fit within that within the 6 to 6 inches box, but as long as it doesn't expand and gets bigger than those dimensions, it's okay, right? But maybe Daria, do you have any comments on this question?
I would say to that is totally up to you on how you would like to address it, but I would probably keep in mind that if you compress the ZGI to fit within the dimension, it might look a little bit distorted. So yeah, Rachel, you wanted to add something to it?
Yeah, I'll just add, keep in mind, we're gonna fly this thing inside the cabin of Orion with the crew. So when I saw this question, I thought about wings. That's where my mind went. Like I could see someone wanting to fly something with wings, and then the wings expand to greater than the dimensions we've provided. To me, that would be problematic because we still need to have the submission be small enough so that it's not going to get in the way of the crew as they're going about and doing their work.
Yeah. Thanks, Rachel. Yeah, so make sure that it's still fitting in within those dimensions. So as long as it is like that, CGI, it's your design, it's okay. Great. Next one, can a child drawing count? Yes, but again, please add the details that we require from you. So as again, as the ones that I mentioned, the dimensions, colors, materials, right? So yes. Next one, are there any guidelines or tips regarding how to choose the right material we don't really know about or have access to the materials? Yeah, the guidelines are again that file that it's in the files tab in the challenge page. It's called fabrics description. It's again in English, Spanish, and French. And there you'll find all the necessary info about the materials, right? As well each description of each of the materials. Next one. I noticed on the update board that classrooms can submit up to 3 designs per participant. Can also where teams submit more than one. Yeah, I think that there's a misunderstanding here. Only classrooms can submit now up to 3 designs, right? So each classroom, before it was 1, but now a couple of weeks ago, we enable each classroom to submit up to 3 designs, right? So individual adults can only submit 1 entry. Okay, next one. I'm a first grader teacher. Oh, question just disappeared. Okay,
Sorry, I
I'll
answered
continue.
that through text.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jenny. I'll continue with Brooklyn. Oh, that too. Okay. Then should designers draw from existing NASA mascots, or is there a preference for entirely new concepts? Again, yeah, please, entirely new concepts. Next one, Diana. This is in Spanish. Yeah, again, she's asking about the template that we also made available on the challenge page, where you can utilize a template that basically has a space where you can put the images from the angles that we require, right? So if you're using that, yeah, you had to specify materials, you had to specify again dimensions and yeah, the details that we require from you. The next one, can I participate from Colombia? And why don't they translate in all languages? We have made available the files in the files tab, right? We have Spanish version, sorry, of all the files. And so you can utilize those. But let's say that a submission should be in English, right? That should be in English. Also, the registration form is only available in English, so only the guidelines, rules, and let's say specifications and any explanation related to the design and the challenge, you can find them in Spanish in the files tab. And then the first question, can participate from Colombia. Yeah, I would say Daria is Colombia part?
Yes, yes, you can participate from Colombia.
Great.
Yep.
Great. Okay. Can the design form be like a more elaborate presentation of
Um,
the design, or just a
am I
simple
the
one that
only one
specify?
that's not?
Elaborate more? Sure. That's yeah.
Hi,
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I'm just double checking. Am I the only one that's losing Eric, or was it for everyone?
I was also losing him. Yeah.
Okay, I'll
Oh,
read
okay.
the-
Can you hear me now?
yeah, I can reread the question again too. Can the design form be like more an elaborate presentation about the design, or just a simple one that specifies the dimension of the plushie? I would say you only need to submit what we're asking you to submit. So it has to be a drawing with the dimensions and colors. Everything beyond that, that is totally up to you. So if you'd like to have a more elaborate presentation, include additional information in there, you're welcome to do this. Please note that in submission form, we also ask for the written description. So yep, so you're welcome to do that as well.
Do you want to continue, Dara? Sorry, maybe my connection is. If you like to, yeah.
Sure, yeah, I can continue since you cut it off a little bit. Next question is, if an individual or team has multiple submissions, are they limited to the number of submissions that can reach the finalist phase? Yes, as we mentioned, we only allow one entry for adult entries. The only exception for this is the classroom that is allowed to submit up to 3. Next question is, would it be helpful to submit an original student pattern for the ZGI, or is that completely unnecessary? I would say it would be helpful. It would definitely count in your judging rubric and the amount of points you receive. Rachel, from NASA's standpoint, do you think it would be helpful for you guys?
Well, I would say, these designs, they don't have to be over complicated. Then to me, the sewing pattern is not as important as the design. In fact, I think unless the sewing pattern is a feature of the design, I think that would be important to include. Say you put some sort of, design on the plushie that you're submitting, and the sewing is important to the design itself. Then I could see that including the specifics of that pattern is important. But for instance, if you've got a seam that you want to indicate needs to be closed, I don't think you need to indicate the sewing pattern on something like that. That gives the team that's manufacturing them a little bit of leeway as well.
Amazing. Thank you, Rachel. Since we only have 7 minutes left, I'm gonna skip through some of the questions. So apologies for me taking my time to skip through them. Next question is, does the amount of detail on the actual plush make a difference on the judging? It's not the amount of detail that is gonna make the difference, is the quality, the originality, and also just how creative and attractive your submission is. So it might not be the best answer. It could be it might be a very vague one, but I would say just keep that in mind as you're designing it. Next question is, does the illustration have to be vectorial, or also where I can find the submission templates? Both. The submission templates are available on the files tab. So if you're on the website, there are several tabs, and files is, I believe, one from the last or something like that. There is a long list of files, so you might need to scroll through them in order to find the actual submission template. For the illustration, it does not have to be vectorial. There is a limit on the types of the files that we accept as a platform, but it does not have to be vectorial. Next question that just a second. Any hints as to what the crew would like? Rachel, would you like to take that one?
No, I mean, I don't have perfect insight into what the crew will ultimately select. I do know that, they wanted us to do this competition on a global scale. And I think NASA more generally is looking for something that will unite and help humanity feel like they're part of this mission.
Amazing, thank you. Just going through some of the questions. Next question, because we did receive some previous ones that are quite similar, so I'm going to cover that. Is the expectation that the plushie character be in the outfit of a space suit, as the past character Mascot used have been? We don't specify that in the rules. Again, as long as it meets the requirements, you're welcome to. Rachel, would you like to add anything to it?
Yeah, from my perspective, no, it doesn't have to. We want it to be unique. Yes, last time for our Artemis 1, which was our uncrewed mission that went beyond the moon, we did fly Snoopy as the zero gravity indicator, and Snoopy did have on a little orange spacesuit. That was unique to Snoopy. I would say you don't need to submit something that has a spacesuit that it's wearing. And in fact, if you go look at the zero gravity indicators that previous astronauts have flown on their missions, normally they aren't wearing anything. It's literally just the plush and the design elements that are already incorporated into that.
Thank you. Another interesting question, and Rachel, I would like you to take it if possible. What happens to the plush after the mission? Does it go into a museum? Does it come back to the designer? Does the crew keep it?
We actually have not determined that yet, so I don't have a totally clear answer for you. I would say we really want the design and the plushie itself to be something that unites people, like I mentioned. And so we haven't committed to, sending it to a museum or returning it to the originator at this point.
Thank you. All right, a couple of last questions. Again, about the astronaut suit. A question for the dimensions of the plushie itself. Is probably might be a good clarification. So we have an overall dimension of kind of the box it has to fit. It's not going to be like an actual box. So the actual dimensions of your plushie, it is up to you, but as long as the width and the height of it is going to fit within the 6 by 6 by 6 inches. Hopefully that is a better clarification on that. Are color options available on the page? No, we don't specify any colors, so you're welcome to use any colors you'd like, as long as you please list them for us as part of your design. Can someone participate both as individual and as a member of the team? Yes, you cannot participate as a team leader of the team and individual, but you can participate as a member of the team and an individual separately. There are no issues with doing that as an option. Next question, Rachel, since you kind of touched on that during your presentation, is the string that hangs to the plushie a part of the 6 by 6 by 6 inches? Can you elaborate a little bit on the string part?
No, NASA will, when it's manufacturing the actually chosen design, we will determine the appropriate tether and attach it.
Thank you.
So I think you could include like, hey, attach here if you want a specific, attachment point. But to me, that's not essential. NASA can determine that. and the tether itself does not need to be part of the design.
Thank you. And probably last question, and Rachel, I would really love for you to answer it. Can you tell us a little bit more about the team that is going on the spaceship?
Yes, I would be more than happy to. So we have 4 astronauts who are flying aboard Artemis 2. They are 3 NASA astronauts and an astronaut from the Canadian Space Agency. So the 3 NASA astronauts are Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, and Christina Cook. And then the Canadian Space Agency astronaut is Jeremy Hansen. And together they were chosen because they have an excellent mix of skills to enable NASA to test out Orion for the first time with humans, with all of the systems inside that we're going to be really putting to the test in the very harsh environment of deep space for the first time. They are a terrific crew. They're very excited. We're very excited that they are flying on this mission. And we have plenty more on our NASA website about them as individuals and about the crew and what they've been up to and what the whole mission is all about.
Amazing. Thank you so much. From my individual addition to that, when we announced this challenge, it was announced during the South by conference, and part of the crew, almost all of them, were making a presentation about it. So if you'd like, we can share a link to that talk, because I was there. It was honestly very interesting. So they share a little bit more of some fun facts and details about the Artemis 2 mission and about themselves too. So it would be a very enjoyable time, honestly, to listen to that presentation. So we are a little bit over our time. So I would like to thank everyone for participating today. We did not answer all of the questions, so please keep an eye out on the challenge website, as we will update the Q&A document with all of the questions that were not answered today and also the ones that were answered today. And again, thank you all so much for joining. It's been our pleasure, and we're looking forward to seeing your submissions.